go inside or you're going to jail for interference. Last time.
We're at a,
Is that illegal?
Business. It was a business that's not occupied right now.
No.
Told you.
I came out of a Taco Bell. Is that illegal?
Yes, right now I have reasonable suspicion to believe that.
Servant, you're not supposed to get pissed off. By the way, one of them right there on my back side and one on my front. Get off my foot.
There have been some notable civil rights lawsuits involving the Mulvane Police Department. One recent case is Means versus Mulvane Police Department et al., filed on March 22, 2024. This lawsuit involves multiple defendants, including several officers and city officials, and alleges various civil rights violations. Means versus Mulvane Police Department case, the plaintiff, Christopher Means, alleged several civil rights violations, including excessive force, claims that officers used more force than necessary during an arrest, unlawful search and seizure, allegations that the police conducted searches without proper warrants or probable cause.
What am I being detained for? Get your sergeant here now. Ow, man. Relax. Get off. Come on over here. Get off of me. I didn't do anything to arrest him, man.
False arrest. Accusations that Means was arrested without sufficient legal justification. Discrimination. Claims of being targeted based on race or other protected characteristics. These allegations highlight serious concerns about police conduct and civil rights protections. The Means versus Mulvane Police Department case is still ongoing, and there hasn't been a final ruling yet. The case involves multiple allegations of civil rights violations, including excessive force, unlawful search and seizure, false arrest, and discrimination. The Means versus Mulvane Police Department case is currently in the pretrial phase. Here are the typical next steps in such a case. Discovery. Both parties will exchange evidence, including documents, depositions, and interrogatories. Motions. Either party for summary judgment, which could resolve the case without a trial. Pretrial conferences. The court may hold conferences to discuss the progress of the case and encourage settlement. Trial preparation. If the case proceeds to trial, both parties will prepare their arguments, witness lists, and exhibits.
Worst case, our electronic filing system was hacked into earlier this year.
Yes, sir.
So we don't have access to, we don't have access to anything.
Still, we don't?
Nope, still don't.
Wow, I thought they said.
In addition to the Means versus Mulvane Police Department case, there have been other notable lawsuits involving police misconduct in Mulvane. State versus Manwaring. This case involved allegations of police misconduct during a DUI arrest. The court examined whether the evidence obtained was admissible, considering the legality of the police conduct. Allegations of police bias. A review of data by the Associated Press revealed that Kansas law enforcement agencies have received numerous complaints of bias over the past decade. However, very few of these complaints have resulted in sanctions. These cases highlight ongoing concerns about police conduct and accountability. If you need the Means versus Mulvane Police Department case, there have been other notable instances and complaints involving police misconduct in Mulvane. Bias complaints. Kansas law enforcement agencies, including those in Mulvane, have received numerous complaints of bias over the past decade. However, very few of these complaints have resulted in sanctions. State versus this case involved allegations of police misconduct during a DUI arrest, focusing on the legality of the stop and the admissibility of evidence. Police misconduct through several channels. Mulvane Police Department. You can file a complaint directly with the Mulvane Police Department. Visit their office or contact them via phone to speak with a supervisor. City of Mulvane. Complaints can also be submitted to the city administration. They may have specific forms or procedures for handling such reports. Kansas Attorney General's Office. You can report misconduct to the Kansas Attorney General's Office, which oversees law enforcement agencies in the state. Department of Justice. For serious civil rights violations, you can file a complaint with the U.S. Department of Justice's Civil Rights Division. If you need assistance with the process or have more questions, feel free to ask.
Share. The vast majority of the law enforcement officers in this country perform their very difficult jobs with respect for their communities and in compliance with the law. Even so, there are incidents in which this is not the case. This document outlines the laws enforced by the United States Department of Justice, DOJ, that address police misconduct and explains how you can file a complaint with DOJ if you believe that your rights have been violated. Federal laws that address police misconduct include both criminal and civil statutes. These laws cover the actions of state, county, and local officers, including those who work in prisons and jails. In addition, several laws also apply to federal law enforcement officers. The laws protect all persons in the United States, citizens and non-citizens. Each law DOJ enforces is briefly discussed below. In DOJ investigations, whether criminal or civil, the person whose rights have been reportedly violated is referred to as a victim and often is an important witness. DOJ generally will inform the victim of the results of the investigation, but we do not act as the victim's lawyer and cannot give legal advice as a private attorney could. The various offices within DOJ that are responsible for enforcing the laws discussed in this document coordinate their investigative and enforcement efforts where appropriate. For example, a complaint received by one office may be referred to another if necessary to address the allegations. In addition, more than one office may investigate the same complaint if the allegations raise issues covered by more than one statute. What is the difference between criminal and civil cases? Criminal and civil laws are different. Criminal cases usually are investigated and handled separately from civil cases, even if they concern the same incident. In a criminal case, DOJ brings a case against the accused person. In a civil case, DOJ brings the case either through litigation or an administrative investigation against a governmental authority or law enforcement agency. In a criminal case, the evidence must establish proof beyond a reasonable doubt, while in civil cases the proof need only satisfy the lower standard of a preponderance of the evidence. Finally, in criminal cases, DOJ seeks to punish a wrongdoer for past misconduct through imprisonment or other sanction. In civil cases, DOJ seeks to correct a law enforcement agency's policies and practices that fostered the misconduct and, where appropriate, may require individual relief for the victims. Federal criminal enforcement. It is a crime for one or more persons acting under color of law willfully to deprive or conspire to deprive another person of any right protected by the Constitution or laws of the United States. 18 U.S.C. Sections 241, 242. Under color of law means that the person doing the act is using power given to him or her by a governmental agency, local, state, or federal. A law enforcement officer acts under color of law even if he or she is exceeding his or her rightful power. The types of law enforcement misconduct covered by these laws include excessive force, sexual assault, intentional false arrests, theft, or the intentional fabrication of evidence resulting in a loss of liberty to another. Enforcement of these provisions does not require that any racial, religious, or other discriminatory motive existed. What remedies are available under these laws? These are criminal statutes. Violations of these laws are punishable by fine and/or imprisonment. There is no private right of action under these statutes. In other words, these are not the legal provisions under which you would file a lawsuit on your own. Federal civil enforcement. Police misconduct provision.